Om lokaha samastaha sukino bhavantu. May all beings be happy and peaceful. Hi everyone, it's Phoenix. It is Monday and we are live. Could I get some comments in the chat? Give me a what's up. Let's see if this works today. Not a whole lot of activity so far. We're waiting for some bigger moves here for Bitcoin, Ethereum. Quite possibly continuation over the coming week. We are going to be seeing earnings reports from today until Friday for many of the larger companies, which is going to definitely have an impact on the stock market. In particular, we're eyeing the S&P 500, and that is likely going to influence both the dollar index and Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the alts as well. So if you haven't already joined MEXC, if you want to get even more access to the information that I'm sharing here, I often share a lot more on the specifically on the weekday updates channel on my Discord server. You can actually do that by just signing up for MEXC and sending me your UID, or you can purchase one of my courses or the Small Cap Superstars report. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at Bitcoin today. As I've been mentioning, not much has changed here as far as the health of this trend. It is very concerning to me that we haven't really had a deep pullback. If you look, you could say, well, technically we did have pullbacks, of course, but not here was about 4.5%. Okay. And here so far, since reaching 23,360, we've come down about 4.5%. So I would expect a deeper pullback at some point in order for this to continue to sustain. Otherwise, it could just shoot straight up to 24, 25K and then head back down again. That's the big concern here. But I think it's going to take some time for this move to play out. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin come back down here from, we have the weekly open around 22.75, 750. I wouldn't be surprised to see it come back down here, retest these highs here. And then this is around 21,300, maybe consolidate here and then come back up. That would potentially be a long trigger for me. And I would be looking to target it up to probably, of course, you could have your conservative take profit here, previous high here, 23,300. But then looking at this weekly level here, this is 24,337. Anywhere in here would be a take profit zone for me, and I would not be looking, I'd be looking to scale out of longs, and I'd be sizing up shorts between 24,300 and 25,262. Okay, I can see my chat today. Great. Hi, Manu. Hi, Peter. Hi, Razvan. Go. Hi, Tabor. Okay. So looking at this, I'm holding back here. My strategy for 2023, just to share with you all, is to trade at the extremities and to try to avoid as best as possible getting chopped up in these ranges, because I do anticipate that there's going to be a lot more of this sort of funky price action. And I think that 2023 will largely be a liquidity play, and there'll be a lot of interference with algorithmic trading. And we're lacking a lot of retail demand still, even though the news would like us to maybe believe otherwise. I did see some interesting perspectives out there. I'm starting to see some of the major media covering this move for Bitcoin, which is all the more reason for me, or us, I should say, to be suspicious. Remember that smart money, we're trying to anticipate, we're trying to think differently. We're thinking differently from the herd. That's really all there is to it. And the herd right now is very optimistic and bullish. That means that we should be cautious and anticipating a sharp move down. That's the gist of it. And anytime I share that on social media, there's always some pushback. And I, of course, received more of that during the bull market. But I still am going to stick to that, even though it has pushed higher and faster than I thought it would. I did scale out of my longs actually around 18,200. And then I caught some of the moves on some of the alts, but I'm mostly holding off here. I'm also not super bearish. So being neutral, I think, for 2023 is going to be really important, uh, because this is a range, and while we're range bound, it's going to go up and it's going to go down. It's not going to be that maybe we see another leg down. I think it's unlikely at this point that we see another huge leg down like we saw here, but I'm not going to rule out the possibility. If it does happen, hopefully I'll be in a short position. I'm also not wanting to size up on shorts as much as I was earlier in this bear market, because we've already had much of this. The bulk of the move has already happened. So while we're in accumulation, if this is accumulation, then the strategy, my strategy as a swing trader, is to wait for the move to the extremes. In this case, we're looking between 20, 24 and 25K, and to size up here, but not go overboard with it, and to be shorting it down, maybe to the mid, and then see what happens from there, and see if it comes all the way back down again. And then again, maybe accumulate spot once again and repeat, and also take some longs. So continuing to begin to add exposure, maybe down between 15,500 and 18K, anywhere in there. If I see a spring type action, I definitely will start accumulating, and I'll also at this point start accumulating alts. So if I see this and then I see it spring up, and this turns out to be a deviation, it comes below, puts in some new lows, gets everyone bearish again, here I'd be buying Bitcoin. Here I'd be buying Ethereum. Here I'd be buying a lot of the small cap superstars that I mentioned in the report. So that's sort of the broader play that I'm looking at right now. And it's nice to be able to bring that in, because it's been all trading in 2022, and to have some spot, be able to actually use that inverse perps. You can trade while owning the spot. I like that play when I see Bitcoin at the extremes of this range here. So it's not really that complicated, but that's just the overall strategy that I have here. And so I'm paying close attention to Bitcoin, Ethereum right now. This isn't a position where I want to long. It needs to pull back. I keep saying that. It's not pulling back. Okay, that's fine. If it wants to do this again and just push straight up to 24, 25K, it can do it, because it's not worth it for me. It's not a big enough move for me to get it. If it comes up to here, if it shoots up to here, then chances are it's going to reject almost immediately. Okay. And it's not worth it to me. I want to see it pull back. So even if it just needs to pull back at minimum to 21,400 minimum, at minimum. And then we see a pattern develop and we see it show some strength. And maybe you bring in the bounce strategy if you've followed my courses, and you look at the pin bars, and you look at the EMAs and all that. But right now it's not. I mean, it's a deceptively healthy uptrend. It's too much so. So Ethereum also is at a level of resistance. This is a quarterly level, actually. This 1676 initial rejection off of that. Ethereum also, I'd want to see a deeper pullback. I'm flat. I have no open trades right now. It feels good, actually. It's less mental bandwidth. I want to see Ethereum come down to 15.15 or so. I want to see this. If I don't see this, I'm not taking a long. This would potentially be a long trigger, and then you could take profits along the way, back up at 1600, and then maybe see if it can come back up and retest up here. Okay, second take profit, and then from there, we're looking at 1787, right? This is just a simple resistance level here that, and you could say that this area in here was a deviation from this broader range. Okay, so we're waiting for the pullback. I'm not going to rush into longs. Not at this point. Okay. The alts actually, Litecoin actually pushed up to my first take profit level. Notice this wick straight up, just slightly above this first take profit level for Litecoin. Now, how did I come up with this level? It's right here. And on the daily, this is actually a lot clearer on the daily because that's a daily level. I know this because I color coded the levels as I showed you in the previous live here. This zone here is going to prove to be resistance for Litecoin. It may still push up to 107, but in the short term, you see this wick here on the daily, most likely Litecoin is going to pull back. Most likely it's going to come back down and retest somewhere down here around 82, 83. At this point, okay, then I'm looking to maybe take a long here. If it comes down and then it gets back up again, but needs to pull back. This is the basics of trend trading. You don't enter into a trend when the move is already overextended. That's just, it doesn't make any sense. And you can actually see, you could establish a channel here for Litecoin. You could see if we just draw this here, well, not quite. It's somewhat of a channel. We'll have to cut some of this up here. No, doesn't really work. But so if it comes down here and then gets back above, you have some confluence, right? Comes down here, gets back above, or tests this trend line here and then comes back up again. And then we're looking, well, no, that's not how I would enter a long position. Sorry about that. Let's ignore that. I don't like diagonal trend lines. So again, comes back down somewhere between $82, $83, starts to consolidate, and then it starts to push back up. Okay, that's fair game, because even if you're just playing this range right here, if you're just playing it between 83.50 and about 90.40, and then you've got your mid somewhere around here, which kind of coincides with this diagonal here, that's around $87, and then second take profit up here, and then just letting the rest ride and seeing what happens. That's a really conservative play there. But until Litecoin does that, it's a no trade zone for me. It's kind of a no-brainer. But for the average retailer, they're thinking, well, its number go up, it's just going to continue to go up forever. Well, we know that that's not true, and you've seen where those wicks happen and it pulls back. And I got stopped out on an XRP trade this weekend. It was a long, and actually notice what it did. Came up, wicked up to my first take profit level after I got stopped out. Of course, my stop loss was a little tight on this one, but where did I get stopped out? Somewhere over here. Yeah, it was this one. It was this wick here. And of course, continued back and followed the course, followed the plan, but that's how it goes sometimes. But you have to be careful with these alts right now. I mentioned illiquid markets. There's not as much money flowing into the space as people would like to believe. So XRP, I think it will continue higher. And you saw my second take profit here for that trade was 0.446. Definitely would be scaling out at that point, because what do we have here? We have the lower part of this range. Okay. But I'm not sure. We'll see. Maybe XRP pushes up today. The alts are kind of erratic. They're going off at different times. AVAX also pulled up to, yeah, AVAX is showing a little bit of, it's relatively weaker than some of the other alts. It is, to be fair, does look like it's trying to reclaim this range here between 1775 and 1978, but I don't feel, yeah, it could break back into the range, but I'm not really, it'd have to clear this level here around $18 with some strength. If it cleared 18.12 with some strength on a 15 or 5-minute candle, and I see a continuation there, then that might be a long trigger. But again, like how much further, I guess there's a decent risk reward here. So this would be the trade here. Here's your mid. That'd be kind of an early target there. So somewhere around 1877 and then 1977 for AVAX. I think eventually it's going to get there. It's not a matter of if, but when. But then first, it may have to pull back. And where Ethereum sits right now, I don't know. I mean, the way that this has been going, it could just continue straight up. It seems like there's a deadline to to hit some of these targets up here for the market makers. Maybe they'll push it up just straight up through this again. I don't know. I'm a little bit skeptical. I'm a lot skeptical. The dollar, it's not going to make a V-shape recovery here. I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting more consolidation, and it could potentially drop lower than this 101 level here, this demand zone. It could come all the way down to 100, 99, 100. And if it does that, obviously it's Bitcoin is definitely going to 25K. So it's not really showing any signs of breaking its downtrend. But when it does, when it finally does break this downtrend, that's going to be a fierce sell-off across all markets. And that's what I'm waiting for mostly. So I want to see the dollar line up with the S&P 500. I want to see that line up with cryptocurrency. And then I'm feeling more confident as a swing trader, sizing up on a handful of trades that I feel really high conviction about. And that's sort of my strategy, because I've had difficulty. I tend to get chopped up when I trade in this environment. I think a lot of traders do, because it's mostly the algorithms, and that's just, we know how that goes. So MATIC did push back up above this weekly level. It did actually come back and retest up here. This is a monthly level up here, this 102. But it's not a place, again, it's not a place where I'd want to long this. I would not short, well, yeah, I wouldn't short this either. I wouldn't short this at this level. I want to see if it can push up again and maybe make an irrational wick up here somewhere, probably another deviation. And then if it gets back inside the range, this range here, if it can get back inside here after another push up, then I would consider a short. That would be a short trigger. But maybe it does something like it did before, and then it comes all the way back down again. Again, that would be a short trigger for me, and I'd be targeting somewhere down in the middle of the range here, probably around 87, and then all the way down again. I wouldn't surprise me with MATIC at this point. That's been the trend since July of 2022. So, but it's not very appealing to me right now. I don't like that. Aptos, I'm sure you guys are gonna have questions about this. We're in uncharted territory for Aptos. I did expect this to happen. I just didn't expect it to happen so soon. It's been, how long has it been since, how big of a move was this? This was a 300% move. That's about a 4x in how long did that happen? It's very curious to me that Aptos was pumping at this stage in the game. They do have shady tokenomics. It's definitely got VC backing. It's definitely one to watch in the coming months and years for that reason. And that's really the only reason. So in 15 days, it pulled a 4x. And if you're not familiar with Aptos, it is in my Small Cap Superstars report. Just giving you that one. But I would not trade this here. I would not long this here. I definitely would not long this here. It needs more. There needs to be more. I need more information. It needs to range for a while here. Let's see a range, and then we have some levels to work with. There's nothing really to work with here. You're just kind of guessing. And but I feel like the bulk of this move already happened. I could be wrong. I mean, this is just one big wick here. But this is as a swing trader, as a price action trader, there's nothing. This is just guesswork right now, and you have to be careful of this. Early on in the trading career, it's like you can size up on trades like this and get wrecked, get absolutely wrecked. And there could be, because the market makers, this is what they want, basically. This is part of the trap. It's like, okay, now let's create a massive wick and stop out, like something like this. But of course, well, this is a little bit different scenario, but a massive wick just liquidate all the shorts and then liquidate the longs on the way down. And that's just the way it goes. So I would just wait and see. And there might be a couple of those. So just not worth it to trade Aptos. I know it's exciting to watch. And I know there's been some others that really pumped. Sand had a nice little run here. I was debating along here as it was breaking out, targeting up here, and lo and behold, what happened? We saw it around 8.843, the middle of this supply zone. There was a nice long wick, okay, a nice long rejection wick on the 4H. And if we break that down, we look at the 1H, you can see now we have a pattern that's developing. It looks like it wants to head back down again. Looks like it's probably at minimum coming down to 0.74, 0.745-ish. Any lower than that, deviation back inside, great. Okay, maybe a long opportunity. And then maybe it retests, take profit here, somewhere in the middle here around 80 cents, and then maybe up here again at this supply zone, and then leave some to run in case it continues north from there. Okay, that looks like you see, okay, if you add the yellow to this chart, what we normally see here, that's a healthy correction. And it's not putting in a lower low. Okay, that's what you want to see. And this is somewhere after you see it start to actually recover from that. That's where you want to get into a trade, to a long position. Not here. This is the worst place to do it, because it's close to this local high here. It's very close to that. So just the basics, just nothing really too complicated, trying to keep it as simple as possible here. Solana, also, where would I want to see this pull back to? I'm not really into Solana here. I don't really want to trade this unless it was a scalp, a quick scalp, but I'm pretty confident that it's going to come back down again, probably to this 21.75. Maybe we get a deviation back below like we saw previously here, and then back above again. And then in that case, maybe I would consider a long, targeting somewhere around 23.25, and then targeting up here 24.50, and then just letting the rest run. That would, again, it wouldn't surprise me to see that with Solana. I think the powers that be will likely want to push it up to around $28. Another supply zone up here. Previous support makes sense to me. I don't think that this uptrend is, this rally is over yet. I think that we are going to see a pause here. And if the pause is going to happen, it's going to happen in the next couple of days. Now, if we look at ES, it came all the way up to 4,050. So it's likely also going to pull back here before it tries to make its final push up. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it come all the way down. It could come, at minimum, it should come down to 3,900. I don't know. I don't have a magic crystal ball, but that's just a feeling on this. Maybe it comes down even lower, but ultimately I think that it could very easily push up to 4,100. And then ultimately we're looking at 41.76 up here. That would be sort of an extreme scenario. But if we get any sort of a move back above 4,100 and then back inside here, for me, I'll be shorting the hell out of the stock market. That's just my own 2 cents on that. And if you look at that on the daily chart, I got a lot of stocks I'm watching right now, and I was longing them very, very early on and caught a good amount of the move, and now I'm sidelined with that as well. And so, but you could see it. I mean, it's very clear. The pattern, people think that, well, it's a new year, everything's different now, but we're still in a recessionary environment. We still have to look at inflation. We still have to look at the Fed hikes. All of it's still in play. There's nothing really that's changed other than just this quick pump. And as we know, like, weeks of pumpage can be erased in a couple of hours, and that's the nature of the game. And so being as neutral as possible, I know it's boring for a lot of people that just want to see the numbers go up all the time, but if you want to be in this for the long haul, that's how you have to be. And that's why I meditate every day. And that's why I also, I should actually start my streams by just reminding you all that this is just a game. It's just a game. And it's just part of the dream. And it's not the appearances, it's not as it seems. And so, you've got to get beyond any emotional attachment to what you want it to do. Of course, I wouldn't mind seeing this come up and come back above here and then back inside again, because I know this is where I'm willing to really short this market. But if it doesn't happen and it comes back up and it just continues, well, then I just have to reevaluate and reconsider and maybe think, okay, well, maybe now is a time to really get back into the stock market, because now we've cleared the mid of this range here. It's the same for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin comes back up, we have to entertain the possibilities. So if Bitcoin comes back up to 25K and it starts to really hold there, maybe it holds. Maybe it's just, it doesn't pull back at all, and then it just consolidates here for like 2 weeks. Okay. Now I'm thinking, okay, well, it's possible. It's possible that it's going to continue higher. I don't think it's very likely, but it's a possibility that I'm willing to entertain. And at this point, maybe I would buy some Bitcoin. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I just, it's not as high of a probability. That's why I don't really talk about it. But just being willing to be wrong in these cases. So we've done Solana, we've looked at Aptos, we've looked at Sand, we've looked at MATIC, XRP. Are there any others that you guys are wanting to hear about, to see? Any questions that you have? I'm all ears. That's what I'm here for right now. I'm actually just sort of looking at, I took a break from the charts for a couple of days, so I'm actually looking at these charts for the first time in a couple of days. As a rule, for me personally, I'm learning that it's not really good for me to trade on the weekends. And a part of that is because I just need time away from computers, and I want to spend time with my children, and I need to take care of things around the house. But another part of it is just that that's when I think there's the most chop and the least amount of clarity, and kind of you get those funky little stop runs with the illiquid altcoins. It's just not really worth it. So, you've got to pick your battles. So I took a break this weekend, and now I'm looking at the alts again. We're looking at Atom, and Atom actually did push into this level, which I expected it would. It pushed into this 1320 level, and now it's actually, it rejected initially. It did reject. It did pull back. That was a healthy pullback. But again, this isn't really a level that I would want to be trading, because I'm watching Ethereum. I'm watching Ethereum above all else. And sometimes it's just easier to just trade Ethereum over a lot of the alts, because you know that if Ethereum pulls back, then Atom and AVAX and XRP are likely going to do the same at some point. And Ethereum is overdue for a deeper pullback. So that's the main reason why I wouldn't really trade Atom here, even though it does look fundamental, or technically it looks bullish. It looks like it definitely wants to push higher. I think that in this case, it just really needs to come down again and retest this 1232 at minimum, and then from there I would consider potentially taking a long. Atom has actually been stronger overall than many of the other alts, even though it is down slightly today. It's just the timing is a little bit different for all of them. Now Link also consolidating. There seems to be some exhaustion with the alts. Like we saw some consolidation after this push up, and then it did come down, came back up, cleared this range here temporarily, some strong wicks up into this level here. This was a level that I was discussing when I was mentioning this long trade here, so 725. And then we see a lot of wicks here on the 4H. This is not a long situation for me. I probably would not really be interested in trading Link unless it just rocketed up to here, then I definitely be looking to short it. Maybe it will get back inside this range here at some point above 725. But it's had a pullback, and then now it's a consolidation, and it almost looks like it's the beginning stages of a distribution pattern for Link and some of the other alts. So maybe one more push higher for a lot of these. So I'm willing to wait and be patient and to size up when the time is right. Let's see if there are any others on my list here. I don't have any that are on this list, but I can go through some of the other alts as well if you guys are curious about. I haven't looked at Phantom, and it's been a while since I've looked at Phantom. Wow, that's strong. Phantom is very strong and irrational. And where is resistance for Phantom? It's at it right now. Would you long this? Would you long this? I would not long this. I mean, your average trader might. Maybe it keeps going. But when it does pull back, it's going to be strong, it's going to be fierce, and that's been the pattern for Phantom. This whole area here. I mean, you could go back far enough and you'll see it, right? This whole area is a very strong level of resistance for Phantom. I would not long it, and it's moved up. When you see it move up very quickly into a level like this, as opposed to just a gradual stair-stepping, healthy, organic sort of movement, you know, where there's some consolidations along the way, maybe some pullbacks. You know, when you see it just do something like boom, boom, and then just straight up into it, that's a sign it's probably going to reject really hard. And so what goes around comes around. The momentum that's headed into this resistance level, this strong resistance, is probably going to be reversed very quickly. So that's why I wouldn't long this. But I'm also not really, as a price action trader, I'm not going to short this until I see a pattern develop in the coming days. So I will keep this on my radar as a potential shorting opportunity. Who knows? Maybe it pushes up anywhere in this range here. I mean, it's fair game for Phantom. It could push up all the way to 50 cents. But I feel like if you look at this, it looks like a lot of this move has already happened. Unless it pulls back strong and starts to show some signs of recovery, then I would say that the bulk of this move has already happened. I want to see it pull back to 35 cents. I want to see that at minimum, somewhere around here, between 33 and 35 cents. And then give us something. Give us a pattern. Give us a breakout above that, okay? Same strategy. It's the same strategy. It's just different. It's just a different chart. Dot also, I mean, it's just, yeah, no, I'm not even going to look at this one. I haven't looked at Quant in a while. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Optimism had a nice little run here, and it's similar situation to Aptos, right? I mean, this is uncharted territory for Optimism, and if we were, so we're kind of in price discovery, actually. Yeah, it's in price discovery, right? But look at these wicks on the daily. Definitely wouldn't long this, but might short it. Might short that. That's, you know, we're not in a bull market, folks. So like if we were in a bull market, it'd be different, but this is not a bull market. So this move is overextended. This is an overextended move. So waiting to see, watching this pattern here, here's your range. Here it is. Very simple, right? 245 to 219. Okay, now we're below the range. Maybe it gets back inside and can push up, or maybe it just rejects here. And there's maybe a potential short trigger. Shorting it down, and we're looking at 187. Okay, that's a decent play. That would be a healthy pullback for Optimism. And it looks like it's headed in that direction, right? Could be a decent trade there. I would be more inclined to short Optimism when I see Bitcoin hit 25K, 24, 25K, and start to show me some weakness. that's when I'd be more inclined to short something like this, because as we know, the smaller the market cap, the riskier the trade will be, and the more susceptible we are to manipulations in the price. You know, people say to me, somebody was telling me on Twitter, like, what is your proof that the market is manipulated? Well, just look at the fucking chart. Like, just look at the wicks on the chart. That's the proof. Like, what more proof do you need? Like, in a 5-minute candle, you know, it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like blown away by like the stupidity of people. And like, you know, that's it. Not everyone's stupid. I know some of you are really intelligent, and those of you that are paying attention, I'm not talking about you, but just, and this is just the nature of the game. And this is how we make money. So if there weren't stupid people trading, then I wouldn't make any money. So, you know, yes, the market is manipulated. It's heavily manipulated. It's always been that way. It's always been that way. You know, it's just like, if you believe otherwise, you're a fool. Sorry. Of course, it'd be in an ideal world, would be able to, you know, everyone would be able to make money, but that's not how markets work. You can't, somebody has to lose money in order for you to make money. And so the people that have more money are able to throw their weight around more. A whale makes a bigger splash in the ocean than a little shrimp does. That's how it works. You know, like, you can't change that. You'd be trying to alter nature. So, you know, expect more manipulation. Expect that, like, the price is propped up. This is propped up. This is totally propped up right now. You can see it. It's being propped up. There's a you know, there's a buy wall. If you go on Binance, you look on the exchanges, look in the order books. I don't even need to see it. I'm telling you, it's there, because if it wasn't there, the price would crater. You know, the whales are propping this up right now, and they're going to continue to, and because they've got a certain target in mind, and it's all psychological. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is how it works. And if you stick around long enough in this game, you'll see it. You know, I'm just being realistic. And, you know, look at this right here. I mean, here's a perfect example. This is an hourly candle. It probably happened in like 5 minutes. Let's actually just go down to the 5-minute chart and see if we can find that. I lost it now. Look at this one. Look at this 5-minute candle. Oh, there's no manipulation in the markets. I mean, Bitcoin's a big enough market. It's not going to move. What are you talking about? Like, what is the market cap of Bitcoin? Can somebody tell me the current market cap of Bitcoin? It's not much. I mean, it's like less than half of what it was. You know, it's like, what, 70% less, 80% less than it was, how, you know, a year ago. I mean, how is it you believe that it's somehow different for Bitcoin? Like, how is this different? What happened on this candle right here? It went from 23,106 to 22,521. That was a 5-minute candle on Bitcoin, and it dropped 2.5%. And you want to tell me that the markets aren't manipulated? I mean, who did that? Was that just a bunch of retail all getting together at once and saying, yeah, we're just going to dump all at once? Let's like coordinate this. No, it's a freaking whale. That's how it goes. That's the market. Like, I don't need to give proof that this is happening here. Okay, I'm done. I've vented here. Some of you need to hear that. Okay. Most of you already understand what I'm talking about, but some of you really need to just get slapped around, because this is how you lose all your money, by saying the markets aren't manipulated. You're crazy. Give me proof. Like, seriously. This is why, you know, like, I follow other traders, and they're a lot more crude than I am. And I'm just like, I'm holding back right now, guys. So we're waiting for a pullback. If we don't get a pullback, then forget it. It doesn't matter. Like, let it surge, because it's going to come down that much faster, that much harder. So yeah, like, I feel like are the comments still working here? Because they worked in the beginning, and now I'm not seeing any comments from any of you. So Litecoin, we did AVAX, we did Link, we did Atom, we did XRP. I'm not getting any comments. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm done with my rant for the day. I feel a little bit better now. It's, you know, wait for the extreme moves. Wait for it to hit the extremes. don't feel like you always need to be in a trade. It's not financial advice. I'm talking to myself, right? What a crazy world. Like what an absolutely crazy world for this to happen with everything that's going on and people are still bullish. I don't know. I'm not a perma bear, guys. Like when we flip bullish, I'm gonna be the first. I'm gonna be shouting from the rooftops. It's time to buy, everyone. It's time to buy. I'm gonna tell all my friends. I'm gonna tell my family. I'm not telling them right now. I'm just not yet. Not yet. Not yet. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for this to settle. We're waiting for a settling phase. Anytime you see a V-shaped move, you've got to expect that there's going to be some contrast. There has to be contrast. What do we see here? Like let's just look at this. Let's just look at this range here. Okay? You could say that we were in a nice little range here, okay? And then we came down, came back above, deviated back above, and then boom, crushed it back down again. How is this going to be any different? If it deviates anywhere above 25K, 25,200-ish, and then it gets back inside, then that's just showing us a similar pattern to what we saw here. That's all there is to it. I mean, and the same pattern, like if we just look at this here, even just in a larger context, just look at this. I mean, look at this top here. Here's your range. Okay. Broke down, deviation back inside, came above, deviation above, back inside, short trigger. And what? Remember this? Do you remember this? The second time around, everyone thought, now it's definitely going to 100K. Bull market's back on, baby. Let's do this. LFG, GM. Okay, let's do this. 100K. Nope, sorry. That's smart money. Smart money. Yeah, let's get them all back on board here. Let's get everyone all excited. I missed it the first time. I'm not going to miss it again. Buy, buy, buy. Boom. It's happening right now. It's a freaking repeat. It gets kind of boring after a while. You know, it gets kind of old. It's like, but if I wasn't making money off of it, then it wouldn't be worthwhile. You know, it's a big part of my livelihood. So it is what it is. But just pay attention. Just pay closer attention to these things because it's the difference between making millions and losing all your money, blowing up your account. This is the difference. Is just being sharp, being astute, and understanding that when you have these big, strong, overextended moves, there's going to be the contrast. There always needs to be the reversion back to the mean, and we're getting the move back up to the top of the range here. So until it's guilty until proven innocent here, as far as I'm concerned, you have to give the rallies. You can't give rallies the benefit of the doubt in a bear market. That's it. If I more than anyone else want to see the bear market come to an end here, and maybe it will in the coming months. I'm hopeful that it will at some point this year, but until then, you have to be realistic, not pessimistic, but realistic. Sometimes I lean a little bit on the pessimistic side, and it's okay. But I've tended to lean toward more of the optimistic side and thinking about people and human nature as well. And I believe that humans are inherently good and that we benefit when we work together and we collaborate with one another, we cooperate. And at the same time, there are a few stupid people on the planet, more than a few, and they deserve to lose all their money. So, and they're probably not watching this channel. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. And again, now's the time to be looking at the small cap superstars. Check out the report on the website. It really is worth it. If you don't believe me, I don't really care. Those of you that do believe me, I hope that you make millions of dollars investing in the small cap superstars for that $150 investment. That's all I've got to say. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Oh, also, I will be sharing when I am placing bigger trades on C3 and also maybe dropping some hints on Twitter. So how do I end this? Okay, let's end this.